The air aboard the chains of piety was a sterile, recycled curse, thick with the gallous scent of submission. To Jakub, it just smelled like a cage. He hung from the bulkhead, his powerful welder's wrists and ankles locked in unyielding polymer cuffs. Around him, hundreds of humans dangled in identical postures of defeat, the silence heavy with broken spirit. The Gallif hadn't conquered with fire, but with a pacification field that drowned the brain in apathy. People had walked calmly onto their transports, Jakub among them. He'd felt a distant worry for his daughter, Lila, but the emotion had slipped away, impossible to hold. Now, only the physical and psychological chains remained, designed to keep them docile. A soft sob broke the silence. A young woman cried a few rows over. A Gallif overseer glided over and tapped her with a shock rod. A sizzling crackle silenced her. Jakub looked away, a fresh wave of helplessness washing over him. He clung to memories of Lila, her laugh, her graduation, as lifelines in the gray despair. The hold's door hissed open. 2 Gallif entered, flanking a small human boy. He couldn't have been more than 7, with wide, terrified eyes scanning the docile adults for help. 1 Gallif held him. The other consulted a data slate. Specimen 781G. Prime candidate for behavioral conditioning. The cold words hit Jakub like a physical blow. Conditioning. He knew what that meant. They were going to break this child. The Gallif forced the boy to his knees and produced a long, needle-like probe. Application of targeted discomfort will measure fight or flight threshold, it intoned. The boy whimpered. Please, I want my mom. The Gallif raised a needle. Time crystallized for Jakub. He saw the bored black eye, the glint of the needle, the tear on the boy's cheek. Their eyes met, a silent, absolute plea, and the memory of Lila didn't comfort him. It ignited him. This boy was somebody's child. That was all that mattered. The hollow ache in his chest filled with black, expanding star of pure rage. A low growl started in his core. The air no longer smelled of submission, but of challenge. His eyes glazed over, pupils swallowing the brown. The world became simple. A threat to be eliminated. The Gallif paused, scanner doubtless screaming at Jakub's spiking vitals. Subject 442, B. Desist. Your response is inefficient. Jakub didn't hear words. He heard an insect's chirp. The growl erupted into a deafening roar, a sound of pure violence that shattered the whole silence. Humans flinched awake from their stupor. Jakub's body transformed. Muscles swelled. Veins bulged. He pulled against his cuffs, the polymer biting deep into his wrists, drawing blood. The metal ring groaned in protest. The bonds are rated for 10 times species average strength, the Gallus stated, its curiosity now tinged with alarm. Jakub pulled again, dropping his weight and putting every ounce of his massive frame into it. He screamed, a raw sound of agony and effort, as skin shredded and muscle strained. With a shriek of tearing metal, the ring exploded from the wall in a shower of sparks. He was free. One arm trailed a broken chain and a bloody cuff. He turned his glistening black eyes on the Gallif. They froze. This was an impossibility. The one with the needle raised a shock rod. Jakub moved faster than anything that size should. His chain-wrapped fist shattered the rod, then snapped the creature's neck with a wet crunch. The other turned to flee. Jakub's hand shot out, catching its arm. He pulled it in and drove his forehead into its skull with a sickening crack. Silence. Jakub stood heaving, blood dripping from his wounds, over the 2 broken forms. The darkness in his eyes receded. He looked down at the boy, who stared up in awe. Jakub knelt, his frame suddenly gentle. His bloody hands rested on the boy's shoulders. "You're okay," he rasped. "You're okay now." He looked up at the hundreds of faces staring back. The spell was broken. A man across the hold looked at his own cuffs, then at the dead slavers. A grunt of effort escaped him. He pulled, then pulled again. The woman who had been shocked for crime began to strain, a fierce new light in her eyes. Another joined, then another. The silence was replaced by the unified strain of hundreds of humans, testing, pulling, refusing. Jakub stood, a bloody giant. He raised his chain-wrapped fist. They thought chains would stop us, he roared, his voice now clear with purpose. They didn't account for what happens when you push us too far. He looked at the child, then back to his people. They didn't account for us.